Welcome back to another DG Model Works video, and look what I have here for you today. Intermountain's new Tier 4 Gevo in HO scale. So, you know what that means? It's time for my take on this locomotive. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get started. Alright, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the unboxing. I know most people don't like that, plus there's already videos out there showing unboxing. But I do want to cover a couple things that are important to me. So that's why I'm doing this section of it, just to give you a little bit of heads up. Okay, the main reason why I'm covering this section is because any of you that have been following me for a while remember me receiving a lot of damaged Gevo locomotives from Intermountain that used the styrofoam packaging. It wasn't really good, and it left a lot of room for the locomotive to shift around in there and break off eye bolts and lift rings and various other things. So I had to, send a lot of them back to get repaired, or I had to fix some things myself. So I'm glad to see Intermountain decided to do this Gevo with this style packaging, which is very similar to like Atlas and Fox Valley models HO scale. Just pop the either side of these off, and the locomotive is held in to the base via 2 screws that you have to remove. This should prevent a lot of damage that happens during shipping. So I'm very happy to see that from Intermountain. And also I see the sunshades are right here too that you have to apply yourself. Okay, there were just a couple things I wanted to point out as far as the manual here and this locomotive. The one I'm reviewing here does come with ESU sound already installed, so therefore you do have full throttle features on this, which is pretty cool. That's function 9 to use that feature. If you don't know what that is, please read up a little bit more on that via Intermountain's website, or ESU's website. Sorry, ESU's website. Some of the other things that are new with this, walkway lights, and that would be function 11 for this locomotive. Now there are some different lighting features for the CN version, and you'll see some different things here. NS has flashing rear and front ditch lights, so that's pretty cool. If you don't want flashing ditch lights, they tell you how to change that. So we'll move right on quick. Another thing to point out, if you want to, as far as if you have a sound locomotive and you want to change the startup, there's couple different settings you can change the startup to. You can have it just normal, where you push function 8, start it up, and it stays on until you shut it down. Or you can have 3-minute start cycle, 6-minute start cycle, auto shutdown, things like that. There's like 4 different features. So you can actually have it, if you're sitting idle for say 3 minutes, it will shut down for 3 minutes, and then after 3 minutes it'll start back up, and it'll just keep doing that. You can do it for a 6-minute cycle. So that's some pretty cool things to check out. And of course how to remove the shell. I'm glad to see that you do not have to remove any hand railings to remove the shell on this, which was, I know, a pain in the regular Gevos. Most of the times it led to broken handrails while you were trying to remove the shell. So that's pretty cool. So I just wanted to cover those couple things in the manual. Alright, now let's move on to the locomotive. One other thing I noticed when I was removing this from the box is how heavy it felt. It's definitely a heavy locomotive. So as a comparison, I got my Pennsylvania Heritage Unit Gevo from Intermountain and weighed it, and we're coming up at 18.3 ounces. If you don't use ounces where you are, please convert that on your own. That's 18.3. And now the Tier 4 Gevo, 25.2 ounces. That is considerably heavier than their previous Gevos. This thing ought to pull like a mother. Alright. Now we have it out of the box. On the track, I have the sunshades applied, which I just pushed into place. They are made out of some sort of a metal, so you can bend them up and down if you want. You could probably glue them in too if you want, but they're not falling off right now, so I'm not worried about it. One thing to note, if you have this Walthers diesel house, I just discovered these locomotives will not fit inside. It's too high back here, so just keep that in mind. I'm going to do this review kind of backwards. I'm going to do some quiet running here first, and then we'll go over features and lighting and sound and that sort of stuff. Now, Intermountain recommends a minimum of 22-inch radius for this locomotive. I'm going to be bringing it onto the test track here, which is this inside track, and that is well below 22-inch radius. That's probably more like an 18-inch. That was the only way I could make this test track work. And it does navigate that just fine, but don't expect to be running this on 18-inch radius curves pulling any train cars, because they will probably derail. That's the problem you have when you run longer locomotives on a sharper radius. It's not so much that the locomotive can't do it, it's whatever they're pulling, the coupler swings so great that it actually derails the cars. So, alright, let's listen to this thing without the sound on it, so you get some non-sound running examples from it. I hear no motor noise, no gear grinding noise, very, very quiet. The only time you hear anything, you might get a little click. There is a piece of piping that's kind of sticking down a little bit that catches on the trucks. I don't know if that's by design, but it's not bad at all. Excellent slow speed. As you can tell, this thing is super quiet and very smooth. Very smooth drive in this. I tell you what, I'm impressed. After, like I said, comparing them to some of their older Gevos, this thing is fantastic. Alright, while we still have sound muted, I'm going to go over the lighting features. Of course, we have the headlight. I did kill some of the lights in here, but I'm still getting some glare, so you'll have to, I'll try to block some of it. Got the headlight, and this is all LED lighting. Function 5's number boards. They're not real bright, as you can see, but they are lit. Function 6, we have ditch lights, and they do alternate with the horn. As you can see. And the one last thing to check on lighting is the walkway lighting. Function 11. There you go, you see it? Right in the center. Function 11 turns that on and off. That's a pretty cool feature. I like it. Alright, as we move to the rear of the locomotive, again, I'll turn the walkway lighting on first before I turn the other lights on, because you will probably not be able to see the walkway lighting then. But there it is, function 11. And that the walkway lighting comes on both front and rear together. That's not individually controlled, so function 11 turns them both on and both off at the same time. You got your headlight or rear light and ditch lights. Now I will say the ditch lights, both front and rear, are brighter than the headlight and rear lights. It's not really showing up on the camera too well, but in person you can see that. But overall the lighting is pretty nice. And again, these do alternate with the horn, just like the front. So, pretty cool. Alright, let's fire this thing up. Function 8. Not sure which kind of speaker that Intermountain uses in these, but it's definitely got a more of a deeper bassy sound coming from it than some of their previous Gevos. Pretty nice sound. I like it. Of course you already heard the horn, but I'll do it again. This is set up to ring the bell at the same time, which is prototypical. Bell, of course, you heard that. And there are a number of other functions, of course. There's no sense really going through all of them. It's pretty standard. I do want you to get an idea of the slow speed of this thing, so I'm just going to bump this up to speed step 1 and see if you can see how smooth and slow this moves. It creeps really nice. Turn on some lights, how's that? It's alright, I'm gonna creep forward. Speed step 1. Check that out. That is, man, is that nice. No jerkiness. This is right out of the box. Speed step 1. Bump it up to 2. There's 4. 5. 6. 8, there's 10, 12, 14, there you go, you get the idea. Let's try that quick in reverse, speed step 1. That is impressive. Amazing. I love it. One of the most important things to me is slow speed moving. I will flash up some still shots of this as we go over some of the detailing and close-ups of this locomotive, but I will cover some here. Again, a lot of, just the standard things on the front: MU hose, MU cables. You got KD couplers. Everything is nice on this thing. The grab irons, everything. I don't see any paint chipping off on any of the hand railings. Very nicely done. Now, I absolutely love the fact that Intermountain tinted these windows, just like the prototype. Very nicely done. These grills are see-through here. If you really look, you can see some of the internal mechanisms, but they're not noticeable at all. So that's pretty nicely done there. And the hand railings and everything are nice and straight. Nothing's broke, nothing's bent there. Everything looks good here. Here's some pictures, nice close-ups of the fuel tank area. Nicely done. Here's a quick glimpse of the back. I mean, all your standard stuff here. The MU hoses, MU cables. All nicely done. Pop around to the other side. Nice truck detail. Check out this chain. This is actually metal chain too, and it's even held on by little springs right there. Pretty cool. And I can't tell if these grills are see-through or not. It looks like they are. You can see some cross bracing there, but that's nicely done. Nicely done. And again, no issues with handrails here at all, anywhere that I see. Alright, we'll skim across the top here. Nice PTC antenna array on this. I think I did a good job. I like that. Work our way back. A lot of the lift rings are molded in. There are separately applied right here. Eye bolts. Horn's nice and straight. Nothing's bent out of shape on that, which is actually hard to find on any locomotive, really. The exhaust stack, it is not open, so that's nothing big, just pointing it out. Nice grille detail. Very nice. Nicely done. As we're taking a closer look at this, I do want to point some things out. You do see the red pickup wire there. You can see that on both trucks. But that's nothing new. That's a lot of manufacturers, you see that. If you don't like to see that, touch up with some black paint. But that's hardly a deal breaker. I just thought I'd point it out. And I did notice, I don't know if I can get in there or not, but you can actually see one of the gears sticking up in the middle of the truck. Way back in there. Sorry for the moving around. I'm trying to get it in there so you can see it. So whenever you run this locomotive, if you're down eye level here and looking under there, you can see the gear moving. But again, you got to really be looking for it. Alright guys, I want to wrap this video up with my final thoughts. I can do that with probably one word. Fantastic. This is a nice locomotive. Going over everything, I haven't really found any flaws except for them couple minor things I might have pointed out as far as the pickup wire and the gear, but that's not anything that I would complain about, to be honest with you. I just like to go over everything and point everything out to you. Nothing's broken off of it. It sounds great. I think they went with a sugar cube speaker in this now. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't opened it up. but it definitely has more bass to it, nice sound to it. I really like the tinted windows. Nice job there. Overall, like I said, I don't see any paint peeling off. Some of the yellow hand railings might have a little bit of flashing, real light flashing left from whenever they might have cut them off sprues or whatever, but that's not bad at all. I'm very happy that Intermountain changed their packaging. I think that was something that was needed, and overall I'm happy that the fact that I got something that it wasn't broke. And if you followed me, you know I ran into problems with my my Heritage unit Gevos when I got them from Intermountain, and I think a lot of that was just packaging. That styrofoam packaging didn't hold it well enough, and all parts and stuff were being broken off of it. And there were other issues, minor issues here and there. I don't know if I'd say minor. Some of them were probably truck related, gear related or something, but this thing, super quiet, super smooth, heavy. This thing is heavy. This ought to pull some cars. It's definitely a lot heavier than their older Gevos, which I'm sure they heard a lot of complaints about the lack of weight in those things, and evidently they definitely addressed that issue. Lighting's great. I'll tell you what, for right out of the box, this thing is top notch. I'm really happy with it, and I don't know. I think maybe, unless it's just mine, I mean, you guys might have got some that might have had something wrong with them. I don't know, but I'm just reviewing the one I got, and Intermountain definitely stepped up their game as far as previous models of Gevos that they've done. They've definitely stepped things up, especially even with their packaging. So I'm glad that they are listening to the customer. Obviously they are. So that's just my take. Yours may be different, but this thing, super, super, super nice. I like it. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. And be sure to check the end of this video for some great coupons. In fact, Midwest Model Railroad, they have these. Right now they have BNSF and CN in stock of these Intermountain Tier 4 Gevos. They have more Norfolk Southern, Union Pacific, and CSX ordered, so they will be getting them in. Be sure to check them out. And like I said, check out the end of the video for a coupon code to use there for 5% off your order. Free shipping on anything over $100. And their prices are right up there with the best of them. So be sure to check them out. Pick yourself up a Tier 4 Gevo, because I'm telling you what, I like this thing so much I think I might buy another one. Alright guys, that's it. Take care. I'll see you next time.